I never realized that some gods could be decent, or possibly even good. I assumed that all they wanted to do was to take from their worshippers. Wadwin, for instance. My father died because of being led off to war by that one. If he really was Aethys, I couldn't say, but when I examined the symbol left from the battle fought north of Durford, I saw what Ader's brother saw, and Wadwin certainly seemed like he had some sort of godlike powers of persuasion. I've never really considered Hylea that important. The god of mothers and birds? That's all I ever thought about her before coming to the Durwood. She seems good, actually. I wouldn't mind her support. Berath, the god of life and death. Well, I don't think he's a bad god, but instead of talking with me, he gave me 2 missions to perform for him through visions. Perhaps I should complete those before talking to him again. Even so, I wish to hear what all the gods have to say to me first, or at least those gods that are willing to speak to me. There are a few more to talk to still. Galawain. God of the hunt, assassins, pursuit, wilderness, and predatory creatures. Sometimes thought to take the form of fur-clad hunter or a great hound, Galawain favors the survival of the strong and the culling of the weak. Which makes me wonder what exactly I'm going to hear from Galawain, if I'll hear anything at all. You stand once again before the shrine of Galawain and the Hound's Head constellation, which marks the pedestal. From time to time you hear a low, grumbling-like growl. Pray to Galawain. I kneel before the shrine, prepared to recite the ritual words. Survival begins with strength from within. The air around me stirs, and a gust of warm wind blows across the back of my neck. I catch the faintest smell of wet earth. As I kneel in front of the shrine, I feel myself pushed forward. I catch myself on my hands and knees, feeling warm, damp ground beneath me. Looking around, I find myself crouched in a clearing in the middle of the woods. The smell of dirt hangs heavy in the air. I feel certain this is a vision, but the hairs on the nape of my neck still rise. Something leaps from the bushes. I find myself pinned on my back and staring into the amber eyes of a massive hound. The beast looks at me. Gleaming fangs protrude from the sides of its mouth. Its nose twitches as it inhales my scent, starting at my shoulder and proceeding down the length of my arm. I follow its nose to my hand, which is covered in blood. A tongue as red and meaty as a stake lolls out of its mouth and swipes my bloody hand. Its lips curl into what looks like a smile. The beast looks back at me, and as it fixes me with its glowing eyes, its muzzle retreats into a long bearded face, and its pointed ears lengthen, dropping to the sides of its head. What was a massive hound becomes a giant of a man. His broad, muscled shoulders draped with furs, he holds a flint knife to my neck and grins, revealing a row of long, pointed teeth. That's one way to make an introduction, I suppose.
The lioness reigns still, and soon her cubs will rise. Why did you strike the bear down?
Ah, the fangs. If Wernos could not seize his victory, he did not deserve it.
Worthiness is proven in conflict. Might grappling with might. Flesh tears, bones break, and the ones that mend are stronger still. Blood mixes, and the worthier substance rises to the top. And you have proven worthy.
The changeling throws his head back and closes his eyes, breathing deeply of the cool air. He lets out a howl that rings through the air. He lowers his head, puffs of steam rising from his panting mouth. Twigs crunch and branches snap. The ground shivers under the weight of pacing, prowling footsteps. A dozen beasts, bears, wolves, and long-fanged cats stalk out of the undergrowth, their matching amber eyes fast on me. Eloth takes a step back from the beast. Just how real do you think this is? As the beasts encircle me, their master rises to his feet. Even the largest of the bears can only reach his browned and muscle-knotted shoulders. I stand, mindful of the ring of predators surrounding me.
You sought and won the favor of Galawain. What new prey do you now pursue?
I hunt Theos.
To track a quarry, you must understand its movements. and Theos follows the path of a more powerful master.
Wodika's more powerful than you? I thought she was dethroned. A warm breeze carries the smell of smoke and gunpowder. Sparks ignite and float in the draft, catching in the leaves over Galawain's head. A sudden blast of heat scalds my face, and even as I turn away, a flash of light sears my vision through my eyelids. When I look back, I see a woman in full plate standing next to Galawain. Her mirror-polished armor flickers with images of reflected flames. I can't see her face, but her voice is strong and clear like the ringing of steel.
Let him know his foe.
Magran. The whore breaks her silence at last. Have you missed me, Magran? You may have found other lovers, but surely none that was my equal. Magran says nothing in response. Indeed, she never even glances in Durance's direction. An involuntary tick causes the baggy skin beneath Durance's eyes to quiver. He says no more, his ruddy skin blanched white.
Theos has trapped thousands of souls in sun and shadow like rabbits in a snare. Now, he goes there to retrieve the kill for his master, Wodika.
One of the bears paws at the ground in irritation, its hackles rising.
She will feast on them, suck their marrow, grow strong on their essence.
As the Stelgar watches me, it licks its lips, its tongue scraping long fangs. Why would Theos help Wodika?
Because he is her hound. He has always done her bidding.
His eyes dart to another figure standing just behind Magran.
Wodika stands for an old order. So does Theos.
Really? A golem made of blackened pitted iron steps out of Magran's shadow. Its movements are slow yet precise, each footfall accompanied by the groaning and grinding of metal. The steady orange glow of furnace coals emanates from its eye sockets.
They both fear change, and the Deerwood has changed much recently. People find answers not in the gods, but in animancy, the product of their own labors.
3 gods speak to me.
And why not? When they have learned that even a god can be killed.
Reflected flames shiver in Magran's armor. She says that like it wasn't her followers that unleashed the God Hammer. You haven't done anything to stop Theos.
There is a pact. One Wodika herself has just barely kept. We gods must allow mortals to direct their own affairs.
If Theos is doing this for the bidding of Wodika, and he's a mortal, why can I not get the same support to stop him?
This limit keeps peace between us.
So Wodika directs Theos, and he does her will.
Durance grunts, and these gods do the same with us.
It is not our fight.
Okay. Animancy doesn't seem to trouble you? The 3 gods seem to look at one another. One of the wolves sits and scratches its neck with its quick strokes of its hind leg.
The clash of ideas, the search for answers and meaning. These are other hunts.
They would supplant you. How can you accept this so easily, says Aloth.
This is the destiny of Kith, to struggle and transform, even through animancy.
Magran's pauldrons shift as she clasps her hands behind her back.
And to improve. Steady labor and earnest industry elevate Kith above Wilder and Beast. It is also useful that they should learn to improve their souls, whether through struggle, transformation, or labor. On this, at least, we have no disagreement.
So animancy doesn't bother the gods. If only all the gods' followers were as open-minded about animancy as you 3. What should I do about it?
Track Theos. Follow the trail he has left for you, and corner him in sun and shadow.
You have hired out your strength in the service of others, Watcher. Now we ask that you employ your talents for the benefit of all of the Deerwood. You must stop Theos before he empowers Woodica.
And if you do, you will have a different decision to make.
Of what? Ilaf's eyes widen. The gods mean to leave this in our hands?
Souls were ripped from the world, ripe and full and pulsing with essence. Scatter them like bones to a pack of dogs. Their essence will strengthen the souls of the Deerwood. Let the remains of the dead feed the survivors.
I can see a cold hard truth in that. It's still awful. But it is true, if Woodica can accomplish this, then why would she not deserve her victory in the eyes of Galawain? Why would I feed the lost soul's essence to the rest of the Durwood?
To breed strength. Power is born from the mixing of essence and blood.
The wolves snarl and snap.
What Theos did cannot be undone. Thousands of lives have changed, and thousands more have ended because of his actions. But transformation gives purpose to trial.
And improvement is the goal of all Kith. Long lives, prosperous futures, stronger minds and bodies. Strengthening those who remain will help repair the damage that Theos has done to the Deerwood.
Yes. I knew the answer, I just wanted to hear you say it. If Woodica can accomplish this, then perhaps she deserves her victory. The bear at Galawain's side rises on its hind legs and roars. It falls back on all fours with a growling, shaking thud. Galawain points his chipped flint dagger at me.
A victory that leaves her ruler of all. No room for conflict, no struggle, not even between the gods.
Be careful what you wish for, mortal. Woodica's ways are regressive. Her laws never change, her authority never ebbs, and she never forgets a slight.
Woodica would crush the Deerwood simply out of vengeance for the rebellion against Adir, her favorite. She would stamp out Animancers, Godslayers from the Saints' War, and anyone else she viewed as heretical or dangerous.
Given the previous attempts on our lives by the Leaden Key, we should assume that includes us. It's not that I believe that, I'm using your own argument against you, Galawain. Now I've got to find Theos.
And when you descend the pit to Sun in Shadow, you can count on our assistance to see you safely through. As I hope we can count on yours when you reach the bottom. There are many souls upon the Burial Isle that are sworn to serve us. They belong to you now, and they shall guide your descent.
Durance's face is grave. Beware the promises of a God Watcher. They are binding, but only in one direction. The beasts grow restless, pawing the ground and eyeing me with renewed interest. The bear sniffs at the ground next to my leg. One Stelgar skulks into the circle, its amber eyes glowing. Galawain hurls his knife between my feet, sinking it to its handle. He raises his empty hand.
Hunt him, mortal. And when you stop him, let the souls he has captured feed the Deerwood.
Strengthen the souls of those who remain. Prepare them to face the challenges that will follow. Pledge that you will do this, and we will grant you a power fit for the finest warrior who ever lived.
It's hard for me to resist what they're telling me.
Betray us, and my beasts shall track you down. Our allegiance is not to be accepted and cast aside.
I would hear what the other gods have to say first.
Consider and calculate, but decide.
Galawain's hand falls, and the growling pack lunges into the circle. The vision vanishes in an instant, returning me to Tir Evron, where burning candles replace the glowing eyes of Galawain's beasts. I see that Hylea acted as a caring mother and was soft. I'm of two minds on the Magran, Galawain, and Abaddon choice. I agree that it probably would be the best course of action, but it's brutal. All those souls, those aspects, those shards of souls, just lost and spread to all the others. But it may be the only real thing that can be done in a situation like this. This is Woodika's. Nothing happens when I approach her shrine. The only god left is Rymrgand. Pray to Rymrgand. I kneel before the shrine, prepared to recite the ritual words. It's a god of death and natural disasters and entropy. I could say all life ends in stillness, but it almost seems like struggle is our fundamental nature. My words seem to fade once voiced, as if they were cast into vast emptiness. The hall grows deathly silent, and then the ground starts to tremble beneath my feet. I think I gave the wrong answer. Okay, we've got blights.
I'm here. Ready, Watcher.
Riff Ulikda! Let's go!
Okay, note, don't say the wrong thing.
I'm ready.
Yeah, be ready. Hey. Because I don't know what the proper prayer to this Rymrgand is. God of entropy, cold, winter, bad luck, famine, and natural disasters, manifests as a giant albino aurochs, moving amidst a great blizzard, and in the plodding footsteps of Rymrgand come death and disintegration. Pray to Rymrgand. I kneel and close my eyes. As I pray, the blackness fades to white, and a howling wind fills my ears. The vision that slowly resolves itself is of a broad frozen plain. I see a procession of elves in the distance, periodically fading into and emerging from the whiteness. They trudge over snowbanks, their heads down against the driving winds. I know this place. This is the White That Wends. As they trek past me, one man bundled in furs turns his head. You headed for Noonfrost and the Frost-hewn Breach, too? Before I can answer, he's lumbered ahead. I follow the caravan, and in a couple of minutes I come to a wall of ice. It disappears into the pale emptiness overhead and stretches as far as I can see in either direction. They all stop in front of a mirror-smooth section that's framed like a temple door. It seems somehow thinner than the rest of the wall. I can't see what's on the other side, but a debilitating cold emanates from within. The elves pull pickaxes and shovels from their sealskin packs and begin hacking at the smooth ice, their implements flying through the air in swift, shining arcs. Though they throw their bodies into their labor, not one of them so much as scratches the polished ice. Yet with each blow, something bellows in the distance. Whatever that is, it's huge and angry. Sagani squints into the whiteout. And it's coming our way. Ader calls out to the elves, "Hey, you might want to hold off on that," but the howling wind seems to swallow up his voice. Pelagina's head whips around to see where the bellowing is coming from. Forget about the elves, we need to be ready to move. She turns again to face me, flexing her hands in the cold air. Or fight. The elves hack away, seemingly oblivious to the furious lowing and to the tremors underneath my feet. The snow has risen to my knees. My legs feel frozen in the drifts. Try to get the elves' attention. I grab the nearest elf by her shoulder, shaking her and yelling over the howling winds. I point in the direction of the booming noise, but she only scowls. "Leave us, traveler. We've got to get through. We can't stay on this side any longer." But you haven't even chipped the ice. I know, that's why we've got to keep working. She turns away from me to take another swing. Try to give the elves attention again. Intent on their work, the elves ignore me. Wait. I watch as the elves continue to work at the ice. They pay no heed to the rumbling roar of the numbing wind. Their movements, however gradually slow, they labor at the ice with arduously sluggish movements until they finally freeze in place, some mid-swing and others preparing for the next blow. I touch the elf nearest to me, and he crumbles into a mound of snow. A final gale blows past, scattering the remains of the elves in a chaotic flurry. I notice a single spiderweb crack in the smooth barrier. It's the only thing that mars the perfect surface of the ice. Whatever's on the other side of that strange doorway, I feel it tugging at me. Only when I look back and see the parallel gashes trailing behind my legs in the snow do I realize how strong its pull is.
My end comes to all things in time. Seal the frost-hewn breach, and instruct the pilgrims in the patience of Rymrgand.
Plug the hole with a handful of snow. Plug the hole with my finger. I stick my finger into the hole and I feel stinging cold. I yank my hand back, but the finger snaps off and remains wedged in the crack. A hoary rime instantly grows over the smooth surface of the frozen doorway, fusing it with the rest of the wall. A crystal of ice grows from the frozen stub. As I examine it, the vision around me fades and my finger rises from the stump, but a shard of unmelting ice remains in my palm. He wants me to close it. Well, I wanted to close that too, but I had no idea how to do it. He showed me a vision of a gate, the frost-hewn breach, and the pale elves trying to open it. In the vision, the elves crumbled into snow, and I sealed the gate with an ice crystal that I still had when the waking dream ended. I found Noonfrost, Rymrgand's temple in Oldsong. The frost-hewn breach must be here. When I find it, I can use the shard from the vision to close it according to Rymrgand's wishes. Seems I have 2 things to do before I can come back and speak to the gods. But at this point, I think I would choose the Galawain, Magron, and Abaddon side for their support. Magron has something he wishes, or Durance has something he wishes to say to me.
What is it, Watcher?
He doesn't seem to recognize me for a second, then blinks and frowns. Does what we learned about Boudica trouble you?
It stinks of her. It is justice, but if her greater purpose was to think Magron would fall prey to such deceit. And Aethys, Widewind had always claimed to be invading Deerwood to free it. What if it were true? What if he had come to stop Boudica's plot before it began?
Wow. That's possible, I suppose.
Surely Aethys earned his death at Godhammer Citadel, but not for those reasons. Not to keep him silent. If such a thing has brought about this chaos...
Durance tilts his head as if listening to an inner voice. Then he frowns, the frown deepening as he speaks.
Must we always be tools of gods? If Boudica and Magron, if they are the cause of this, the Hollowborn, if the purges were never necessary, if Aethys was fighting back...
It is a lot to take in.
No, it is not. I am glad to have walked this far with you, seen this truth. Perhaps it was what I was meant to see, with a watcher's eyes. All these dances of words and intrigues, machines of men, twisted, ripping the souls of children, and by the gods, the goddess of justice. If I could end her like Aethys, Magron burned her once. One can do so again. Boudica, she must answer to her own justice.
Justice or revenge?
Anyone with a shred of spirit seeks both justice and punishment. It burns in the heart of anyone who lives. All seek it. If the world does not balance, we all drown in the oceans. And the gods would not care. Magron, she must be redeemed. And punishing Boudica, That will serve.
But if Malgren stopped Aethys, doesn't that bring her complicity into this? Wouldn't she be a willing accomplice? Malgren was allied with Woodica. She tried to kill all the makers of the Godhammer.
Is this some final joke at my expense? To test my faith further? And why would you think that, Watcher?
The others who made the Godhammer, they all died, didn't they? That's why I saw their symbols fade from your staff.
If all you have are questions, then I have enough of those. She is a bitch of a goddess, to be sure. But even a whore only goes so far in crossing those she serves.
Because she didn't want anyone to know about the Godhammer, how it had been made. No one knows how it came to be except few among Malgren like yourself.
You answer a question with a question. Then why did I feel her disappointment at Halgot? Why were we shamed?
Because I think she tried to kill you there.
Kill me? She is a goddess. I still drink from her burning breasts, Watcher. If she wished me dead, she could trace me to my source and kill me.
In the dream of the Godhammer, your spirit looked blurred, indistinct in the light, as if it had been sheared from you. Durance stares at me, his expression frozen, but he's silent, listening. If you had been damaged as I saw in the Godhammer vision, then she may be unable to see you as you once were. Durance turns from me for a moment. His face twists in thought, conflicting emotions running across his features. Finally he turns to me, his face steady.
There's no proof, Watcher. I was a fool to think you could help me see any farther than I could.
If you don't trust me, then trust your staff. Admit that the other Godhammer builders are dead. Durance turns to the staff, and for a moment, I see his eyes burning, taking in the edges of the wood. The symbols inlaid there, the 11 faded circles.
They died in the blast, yes. The other 11. I was the only one to walk away. I thought we had wronged our goddess. That this was my trial, and if I could prove myself worthy of her! I should have known better. There is only one god of redemption, and I saw him ended.
You're saying Wadwin and Aethys were genuine, then? As he studies the staff, I feel a wave of heat, a terrible energy rolling forth from it in waves, so much so it feels as if the Godhammer itself is alive in his hands, and past it I hear a cry like a child being born, and my eyes feel the flash of white, then 100 imagined shades of purple and white, streaming and circling into the howling of a storm. And beneath it the grinding of ancient machines of stone, rock, and metal, grinding and turning until all around feels as if it's burning, sinking into the shadows of the earth. Beneath the ground, the only place where a spirit might find refuge. When my vision clears, I see Durance, his hands clutching the staff, and his eyes are bright, burning red. Atop the staff, the flames burn cleanly, brightly. As if his gaze burns, he rips his gaze away and howls, a bellowing horrid howl, like a wounded animal, and sweat pours down from his brow. Durance, we can make this right.
To think! I served her. I followed her. Now I shall serve no one. Woodica's lies must be answered. And now it seems I must take fire and war from a goddess's false claim as well. I still take from her strength as I did, for as long as it lasts. For I shall not cast her aside yet, until I have drained her dry and had my fill, just as she intended for me. For I have learned one of the lessons of the faithful. The faithful may wound a goddess greater than any enemy. A purification is coming, and this fire shall consume them both.
Let's continue on. It seems to me that this could have been a plot Rymrgand may have done this in order to strengthen the souls, maybe with Abaddon and Galawain. Or the three of them may have plotted with Boudica to do this from the beginning. All I know is that the strengthening of the souls serves the three gods who asked me to do it. I definitely have to return and hear what Berath and Rymrgand have to say.